so many other great thinkers, Hindu thinkers of that period were members, and they removed Asprishyata and they made it punishable. Sisters did, we should not support. That is the thinking behind it. Now, when you say this is what Aurangzeb did, why should a particular community be displeased about it? Why should they not think, yes, what he did was not right? But we are not responsible for it because we are not the inheritors of Aurangzeb and we are different. Why should they feel hatred at all? It should not create hatred. While in a mature society, to accept the wrong done by our ancestors. Now today, every educated Hindu will accept the wrong that is written by Manu. And we accept the spirit of modern constitution. Why should the others understand? Why should the others openly say, yes, this is what is done was wrong? Not only in Aurangzeb's period, but in Babur's period, but in Tughlaq's period, and so many periods, etc. You go throughout India, you find, they say that about more than 30 such temples were destroyed. Now why? Why was it destroyed? Now you must go in search of it because it is taught in their religion itself. Great historical research writers by name Ram Prasad, Sitaram Goyal, and then Arun Shauri, N.S. Rajaram, and many others have done research, and K.S. Lal, the great scholar of history, have done research on it, and then they have published books. You better read it. But why should our people, why should the other communities in India not accept this? We are ready to revise our own opinion about our own religion. Because we are ready to discuss.
Very true, very true.
As I told you, Avarana is covering up. Vikshepa means projecting something which is untrue. Avarana means covering up the truth. Now, if you read this novel, have you read it? Please read it. You will understand the persistent effort to cover up the truth. That is called Avarana. In fact, many people in Karnataka have said, instead of Avarana, you should have titled it as Anavarana. What is the meaning of Anavarana? Opening up. Because in this novel you have opened up, why have you not titled it Anavarana? Yes, that is also correct. This is also correct. And if you want to change the title into Anavarana in Gujarati, I don't have any objection.
Truth should be shown in all this. It can create hatred. Truth is also there between Hitler and Jews. This truth is already there. That doesn't mean that Christians are hating Jews. Now they are more closer. So because they learned from each other and they saw that this thing should not happen. So this is one example. So it doesn't create hatred essentially. It creates rather a closeness because they understand each other's mistakes. Another thing is, I am asking is, did that, we say that so-called intellectuals, did they accuse you of playing divisive or something like that? Did you face something like that? Did you face something like that? No. After writing this novel. So actually, what I am saying is, a certain section of society, did they accuse you of playing divisive in the society after writing this novel?
Oh yes. Divisive people. In Karnataka also there are. And They first tried to accuse me of not knowing history before they read the novel. My reply was, please read the novel before you make criticism. Till then I don't reply. They read the novel. After reading the novel, they know, oh, so much of supportive references are given. And I said, you first read all these references before you make any comment. And these days, who will sit and then read all these books, all these references? And most of our intellectuals never read. That's why they are called intellectuals. Now, they invented another argument saying, it's all right, whatever you have written is maybe true, but what is the point in writing it now? I said, if not now, at some other point of time, someone should write about it. And instead of waiting for someone to write, why should I not write it? They didn't have any answer. And then he said, it divides the society. Then I gave the same answer, etc. In fact, it strengthens the society if social relationships are based on truth. Let everybody in our society understand the truth of their ancestors. I gave this example of Manu Dharma Shastra. Yes, we have accepted it. And we are criticizing our own past life, for example. Not merely we know at this time, even in our Sanskrit literary critical tradition, Sri Rama is criticized that why did Sri Rama put Sita into Agni Pariksha? Did he not have faith in his own wife? And later on, even after Sita passed in the Agni Pariksha, why did he give credence to the comment of an ordinary citizen, and why did he abandon Sita? What kind of a man he is? We are criticizing, we criticize all our gods and goddesses. We have got the freedom. But why should they not criticize the acts of their own ancestors? Why should they go on defending them? That's the question. Until and unless you become free in your mind to analyze the mistakes of your own ancestor, you are not a matured society. Now, can there be integration with an immature society and a matured society? No.
I think this novel is silent on two genres of things. One is, you have very nicely mentioned about the temples that were destroyed and converted into mosques. But there is another genre of temples. I would like to give the example of Somnath in Gujarat, which was broken time and again. And time and again it has risen from its ashes. Again the flag settling higher and higher. So this one particular genre of temples should also have found a place in this excellent novel, which has got a place for thousands of temples destroyed and converted into mosques. That there is a genre of temples which has stood the test of time and where people have fought back, and it has been rebuilt 16 times. It has been broken and rebuilt 16 times. So this is one of the aspects I would request you, when you again pick up pen to narrate such things, that we have in this land a temple which was rising like the mythical phoenix from its ashes again and again. The second point, I would like to emphasize about the question that was asked about Mr. Partha and his political moves to clean the textbooks. I would like to state that there is nothing like neutral history. If Mr. Partha was a Mughal, I would allow him the liberty to wash the textbooks from Aurangzeb's sins. But unfortunately for him and fortunately for us, Mr. Partha is not a Mughal and he is an Indian, and he should not have done it. It's a sin to wash the books out of the sins of the forefathers. The very point that even the Pakistani Muslims are facing today. Gori. Now who was Abdali? Abdali was there from the Indian subcontinent. He was an Iranian invader who came to India. Lahore has a Sufi saint, a Muslim Sufi saint, who has got a saying, Khada pida ape ka, baki Shah Abdali ka. जो खाना है, whatever we have eaten is ours, whatever we have won is ours, the rest will be looted by King Abdal. Now they are the biggest idiots on this planet. They are naming their missiles after the invaders that looted them, those who sacked Lahore and killed innocent Muslims also. So Muslims in India should also not be offended if we criticize Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was a Mughal from the central Chinese region to have invaded India. He is not an Indian. The Muslims should know that they are from our ancestry. They are not from the Arab ancestry. So that point also needs emphasis. Had Amir realized that he is not an Arab, had Amir realized that he is not from the land of the Afghans or the Turks, but he is a born Indian, I think the catharsis of that character as Amir would have been to a new height. Had he also realized that the main core of his existence is Indian. Maybe he is a Muslim, but still he should have felt somewhere in the novel that he is also related to the ruins of Vijayanagar temples of Bhairapa, the Hampi temples that you have so eloquently mentioned in your book. So I would like to have your comments about both the things, the genre of temples number one, and number two, the catharsis of the Indian Muslim and his association with India and not the invaders from Iran or Central Asia.
See, you have asked me to bring all the aspects of a problem. Otherwise, the structure of the story goes out of hand. Basically, you see, when a writer writes a novel, he is guided by the artistic demand, which lays the inner logic of the novel. So, I could not touch those points. In my another earlier novel called Sartha, I have touched this point, namely, a sadhu in that novel says, in future, yes, a particular temple was destroyed in that novel, but a sadhu says, people coming from the west go on destroying the existing temples, but people of this country go on rebuilding. So this process of destruction and this process of rebuilding goes on taking place. This sentence you can find in the novel Sartha, my own novel. And to come to your second question about Indian Muslims, Afghan Muslims, etc., etc. No, that is not so. The real point is in the very teaching of Islam. In the teaching of Islam, they strictly prohibit to give any form to God, any shape to God. Before Prophet Muhammad, there were very many big temples in Arab countries. I have seen with my own eyes. A temple in Egypt called the Temple of Luxor. It is so big that the like of which you don't have any in India. The pillars of the temple are as big as a coconut tree. So if you go to the entry of the temple, you find it is so vast. And inside, it is not a god, it is a goddess. Remember another important thing. In India, we are worshipping goddess also. Whether God is earlier or goddess is earlier. Many of us believe it is goddess, it is Mata which is earlier. But Prophet said, no, God can never be a woman. Now, in Luxor, earlier to Prophet Muhammad, it was maybe several centuries earlier, there was It was the temple of a goddess. It is called Garbha Mandir. By the side of the Garbha Mandir, there is a big room, all built in stone. The practice of the villagers surrounding nearby villagers was, during the crop period, they would collect one cartload of the crop, whatever they grew, maybe wheat or maybe rice or maybe bajra, whatever, one cartload per village, carry it and then put it there in the side room. The priest would cook it every day and give free prasad to the pilgrims who come there every day. That was the practice. Is it not the same practice in our temples? Our villagers give whatever they grow once a year. And is it not the practice in all our temples that whoever goes there during the puja period, free food is given? It is called prasada. Same was there. Now, after Egypt became Islamic, it destroyed that temple, it destroyed that goddess. Now, that goddess, that temple they are still preserving in order to earn money by the tourists. Same also, another temple I have seen in Jordan called Petra. Huge temple, very big temple, which was destroyed by the Muslims. Now, two important things. God can never be woman, and then there should not be any temple. There is no God apart from Allah, no messenger apart from Prophet Muhammad. If you are a Muslim, you must believe in it. Now, how can they tolerate a temple anywhere else in the world when the Prophet himself did it? So, the Prophet himself destroyed so many temples in Arabian countries. So many temples built out of stones and also built out of wood also. So, that is their very essence of religion, one of the essence of their religion. You must have read when the Taliban destroyed the very big Buddha temple, very big Buddha temple. Why? Because their religion does not tolerate any form to any god. It is only in our religions, Indian religions, we accept God is both formless and with a form. It is God is really formless. You can't describe it. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Mind cannot approach it. You can't grasp it by your language. So we accept Nirakara. At the same time, for ordinary people, you worship the same with an Akara. And it is left to your freedom to give Akara to it. You may give the Akara of Rama, Krishna, Savitri, male or female, or even the Akara of a cow, even the Akara of a serpent, Akara of a Ganesh. It is left to your freedom. This freedom, with this freedom, there are so many options in our religion, but there no option, etc. Therefore, when it comes to the question of destruction of the temple, it is not the question of Afghan Muslims or Indian Muslims, etc. The point goes to the very preaching of the Prophet. You must study it. In one Sitaram Goyal, in one of his books, has discussed this problem. For your information, there is a publishing house in Delhi called Voice of India. How many? I think some of you might have heard of this. Please raise your hands, those who have heard it. It has published all the works of Sitaram Goyal and then Ram Swarup and the other authors which I have mentioned, the books are available, and then buy those books and then read at your leisure.
मुझे ये जानना है, आपने ये नॉवेल में एक वर्णन किया है काशी विश्वनाथ मंदिर का। जब ध्वस्त होता है तब औरंगजेब के आदेश से ये सब जब हो रहा है और ख्वाजा और अब्दुल्ला दोनों उनको देखने जाते हैं वो काशी विश्वनाथ मंदिर में, तब ये वर्णन आता है कि जो स्ट्रीट है वहाँ सब जगह सोल्जर लगा देते हैं। जब दरवाजे हैं घर के वो सारे बंद कर दिए जाते हैं ताकि कोई विरोध करने ना आ सके। कोई इक्का दुक्का लोग जो बाहर आते हैं उसको काट के मार देते थे। और मंदिर काशी विश्वनाथ मंदिर के पास जाके खड़े होके जो आर्किटेक्ट्स होते हैं वो नाप लेते हैं और ये मंदिर को कैसे मस्जिद में कन्वर्ट किया जा सके उसी तरीके का वहाँ प्लानिंग होता है। वहाँ कोई नहीं रहता जिसको आने की वहाँ परमिशन नहीं रहती है। और ये जो वर्णन है उसका रेफरेंस कौन सा है ये मुझे जानना।
My novel, I relied on two important books. One, the name of the author is not just coming to my mind because of my age. You see, proper names miss me. The name of the book is Kashi Ka Itihas. Kashi Ka Itihas, written by, I may tell you within 5 minutes. If I am lucky and if you are lucky, otherwise I can tell you later. Kashi Ka Itihas. It is written in Hindi. And he has given a complete description of the original Vishwanath temple. I used my imagination. And if that original temple was completely destroyed, they could not build this as it is. And also many temples they converted into masjid. How could they convert into masjid if they completely destroy it? So even in destruction, they have their future plan about it. It was my thinking and it was my imagination, and I think right imagination. I wrote it like that. Moti Chandra. Kashi Ka Itihas, written by Moti Chandra. That's the point. And another book about Kashi on which I relied was Diana Ek. Diana, E-C-K, Diana Ek. The name of the book is Kashi, the City of Light. Kashi, the City of Light. And I have read many books, remember. If you go to University Library of Kashi, you find hundreds of books on Kashi. I have visited that library and some I have glanced through, but mainly I relied on these two books.
आज ये जो पुस्तक है उसमें स्टोरी है कि जो मुसलमान और हिंदू का है वो स्टोरी एक बार प्रेम पे आकर अटक जाते हैं, रुक जाती है कि प्रेम में किसी को इस्लाम नहीं दिखाई देता है, इस्लाम ये वो सब कुछ है। तो पहले तो मुझे खुशी हुई कि आपने फिलोसफी का अभ्यास किया और अच्छा लगा मुझे। और दूसरा कि मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है कि हर बार ये आपके पुस्तक में से ये दो पात्र हटा दिए जाए, ये मुस्लिम और इस्लाम हिंदू का, तो फिलोसॉफिकल बेस पर हर वक्त ऐसी स्थिति में प्रेम इस्लाम का गुलाम क्यों बन जाता है? आपके पुस्तक के माध्यम से फिलोसॉफिकल बेस पर आप समझाइए थोड़ा उसमें।
Next question.
हेलो सर, किस आप मुझे सिर्फ एक ही क्वेश्चन है उसमें।
When we discuss morality is the subject matter of ethics. And the philosophers who have studied this subject have identified different forms of morality. tribal morality, national morality, rational morality, psychological morality, legal morality, and religious morality. Tribal morality means each tribe has its own moral code. That is what happens in the tribal society. National morality, my country is the highest. That is the kind of morality which Hitler taught, German superiority and kill all others. That is national morality. Rational morality, that means what is the basis for morality? What are the rational principles behind? That is the rational morality. Psychological morality. For example, in some religions, in some moralities, there is the principle of, you see, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That is what was taught right from the Hebraic religion. And then religious morality. Religious morality is, what is morality? What God has said is morality. What is it that God has said? What God has said is expressed in our sacred book. So this is written in our sacred book, you must follow it. You don't have any choice in it. Love is a personal choice. Should you be obedient to your personal emotional choice, or should you be obedient to the text? The Taliban is said, be obedient to the text, otherwise we will kill you. So why should love be obedient to, or why should love be subordinated to religion? Answer is here. Mind are free, you can think of freedom of love. Otherwise, no, it's not possible.
कार्यक्रम यहीं समाप्त होता है। अंतिम प्रश्न आपका।
प्रश्न आ चुके हैं। हेलो, दो बातें आई थी। एक तो ये पुस्तक का जो पृष्ठ है वो ऐसा क्यों है, ऐसा किसी ने पूछा था ना। ये भारतीय विचार मंच ने तय किया है, ठीक है। और दूसरी बात मुझे जो पूछनी है, या ये मेरा सजेशन भी है कि कब तक आप सब लोग जो यहाँ बैठे हैं उनके आदर्श कौन हैं? किसी के विवेकानंद होंगे, किसी के राम होंगे, किसी के कृष्ण होंगे, ये सब आदर्श रहते हैं। मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, अब्दुल कलाम को पूरा भारत एक संत की तरह पूछता है, हम सब उसको फॉलो करते हैं, लेकिन रियल फॉलोवर्स हम जहां ये प्रश्नार्थ कर रहे हैं वहां है क्या? एक मेरे मन में ऐसा प्रश्न आ रहा है, एक ये है। दूसरा, जो इस मामले में आवाज उठाते हैं उनका रिकॉग्निशन है क्या? सलमान रश्दी को कितने फॉलो करते हैं? पाकिस्तान से कामरान अहमद बोलते हैं, उसको कितने फॉलो करते हैं? तस्लीमा नसरीन की क्या हालत है? ये सब हम देखने जाते हैं तो हमें पता चलता है कि कहीं ना कहीं हमें सच को स्वीकार करना चाहिए। मैं एक घटना आपके सामने रखना चाहता हूँ कि अभी के 1 साल पहले जो बरसात का मौसम था, शायद किसी के सामने घटना आई है नहीं, मुझे पता नहीं। और आवरण जैसी जब बात होती है तो ये कहने का मन होता है कि कराची के पास एक गांव में 2 बच्चियां 8 साल की और 9 साल की बारिश में खेल रही थी। एक नेचुरल कोर्स में होता है, उसके भाई ने उसका जो खेल रही थी उसका वीडियो शूट किया, और डांसिंग का वीडियो शूट करने के बाद उसने फेसबुक पे अपलोड किया। या क्या ये बहुत बड़ी घटना है क्या? नहीं। उन दोनों बच्चों को, ये इस्लाम के खिलाफ है, इसलिए इनको सज़ा होनी चाहिए। अगर ऐसी बातें होती रहेगी तो ये प्रश्न उठते रहेंगे। सर, मेरे मन में ये प्रश्न आता है कि आदर्श सेट करने के लिए कोई तरीका है क्या?
We consider Abdul Kalam as a model, but they don't recognize him as a model. Even to recognize a model, it requires maturity of the community. First and foremost thing that any community member should recognize is each individual is free to follow his or her religion. Each individual is free either to believe in, not believing in God. And if a person believes in God, he or she has the freedom to conceive God in his own or her own way. His own, and to worship God, pray God according to his own imagination or his own ideas. If individuals do not have this freedom, then that society is not mature. There is this basic difference. Hinduism was not founded by any particular prophet. It is only a conglomeration of the visions of so many rishis. Each rishi has his own vision, and later on all these visions were codified and it was given a systematic shape. But by that time always there existed Charvakas who rejected religion, who rejected Swarga, who rejected God, and Vedas had to fight, or Vedas had to answer the criticism of Charvakas. Then came Buddhism, who rejected the Vedas. Then came Jainism, who rejected the Vedas. And then came various subsystems within Hinduism, who did not believe in a God. You know, Sankhya Veda, Sankhya Yoga, Sankhya for a long time did not believe in a God. It believed only in Prakriti. Prakriti and Purusha, not in a God. So we have a long history of not believing in a God. Believing in a God came to us only at a later period. That is why in Hinduism there is so much of abstract thinking that any new religion, any new scientific discoveries are made, we are not shattered by it. The theory of space and time which are related to mass of the matter, that is Einstein's theory. Already Shankaracharya had said, space and time are coeval with matter. It is somewhere near Einstein's theory. I don't say that Shankaracharya knew all the mathematical equations of Einstein, but Shankaracharya had this intuition. So Indian religion is basically philosophy.
માર્ગદર્શન આપવા માટે આવેલા ડૉક્ટર ભૈરપ્પાજીનું ન કેવળ ભારતીય વિચારમંચ તરફથી પરંતુ સમગ્ર સુરત શહેર તરફથી હું એમનો હાર્દિક આભાર વ્યક્ત કરું છું. આજના કાર્યક્રમના અધ્યક્ષ શ્રી આરજે શાહ સાહેબ પોતે પણ ખૂબ વ્યસ્ત રહેતા હોય છે પોતાના જીવનમાં, વ્યસ્ત જીવનમાંથી સમય કાઢીને અહીં આગળ આવ્યા, એમનો પણ હું આભાર વ્યક્ત કરું છું. કદાચ આવા જ આપણા શ્રોતાઓ છે, પોતાના વ્યસ્ત જીવનમાંથી સમય કાઢીને અહીં આગળ આવ્યા છે. શ્રોતાઓનો પણ હું ખૂબ આભાર વ્યક્ત કરું છું. સુરત મહાનગરપાલિકાએ આપણને આ જે હોલ અહીંયા આગળ જે આપ્યો છે એ તરફ એ બદલ હું એમનો પણ આભાર વ્યક્ત કરું છું. અને આ કાર્યક્રમને સફળ બનાવવા માટે રિયલ ચેનલમાંથી પણ જે આવ્યા છે એમનો, અને અનેક એવા લોકો છે કે જેમણે જાણી અજાણી આપણને મદદ કરી છે એ સૌ કોઈનો હું અહીં અત્રેથી આભાર વ્યક્ત કરું છું. અસ્તુ.
વંદે માતરમ વંદે માતરમ સુજલામ સુફલામ મલયજ શીતલામ